that the TT Esports Q Squad series, it was reported as a forfeit according to the brackets. So I do believe that means, of course, Q Squad going to be moving on. And, again, it just kind of sucks to see stuff like that because even Nova tweeted about how, like, they weren't showing up yet, but they wanted to play, damn it. So,
yeah.
But unfortunately, looks like TT Esports just wasn't able to field 5 for whatever reason. And so as a result, just kind of a quick update there. It looks like Q Squad will be getting a forfeit victory there over to the Esports. So they're going to actually play the winner of this series in the following round in the losers bracket,
right?
Which right now it is a 1-0 series lead, of course, in favor of Complexity. We'll see how things finish off, though, as it looks like both teams are, or at least Complexity, we are good to go. Good luck, have fun. I'll let them know that we are good. And we should be getting game number 2 started here between these two teams. In fact, the countdown has officially started. So we got game number 2. We got Complexity taking on myRevenge. Let's see what happens. Let's take a look. Let's jump in. All right, so of course switching up the sides, Complexity Legion side and myRevenge on the Hellborn side, and now into that picking stage. So once again, I really think you can put a strong argument out there that they probably should have last picked that Parasite over Master of Arms in the end. I mean, it's fun to see different heroes like that every now and then, but it just seemed like that strategy would have perhaps been a little bit better with the Parasite pick, but indeed did not go with that. So
I agree. Now, Hellborn actually banning out Keeper of the Forest. Oh, sorry. For some reason, I was thinking Hellborn was first pick. yeah, Hellborn obviously banning out Keeper of the Forest and Wild Soul. Legion banning out Parasite and Fade. I think this seems to be B-Kid's pattern. Whenever he's Legion, he wants to ban out Parasite and Fade because he knows that Keeper of the Forest is a bit stronger. I would maybe change it to something like Parasite Wild Soul as a first pick because I've seen situations where you get Keeper and their team goes, like Wild Soul, and if Ophelia is not unbanned, Wild Soul Ophelia, or Wild Soul Tempest, and then you're like, crap, they have a really strong Suicide and a very strong jungle. I only get one, and you can maybe lock the other one and just have very, right off the bat, 4 very strong Suicides and or jungles.
Yeah.
But if you get like Ophelia banned in the blind ban phase, it might not work out that way, and it actually favors Hellborn. So he might want to think about switching that up to maybe like Parasite and Ophelia or Parasite Wild Soul, something like that. But anyway, starting off these locks, we have Tempest, Warbeast, and then Wretched Hag.
Yeah, Warbeast, Wretched Hag coming out from Storyfooter here. Of course, the captain for myRevenge, as you mentioned, Tempest, the first lock though from B-Kid. And now back over to him, and hell, you still have Ophelia once again as an option. It seems like Ophelia is just really one of those or blind ban heroes, I should say, that we see all the time. But this time, once again, just like the first game, left open. So we'll see if B-Kid perhaps looks to put her in the pool as well. But no, not going to be at least this time around. Bubbles, Plague Rider are going to be the follow-up locks, and that definitely seems very B-Kid-like there. And now the final lock for myRevenge. So we'll see now if they want to actually put that Ophelia.
They should.
Possibly in there.
I mean, there's no reason not to. They get Ophelia, that means, okay, they go Engineer, so they love the Engineer pick. I would ban out Ophelia for sure if I was B-Kid. If they got Ophelia, they could have gone, like, Ophelia plus Warbeast. They have done, and the thing is they have done Suicide Warbeast before. In fact, they like it.
Yeah.
It's myRevenge team. And it was quite effective. So they could go, Ophelia Warbeast or Ophelia plus that Tempest. So, yeah, actually, Storyfighter bans out Ophelia. I just find that so strange, but nonetheless, they want to get rid of it.
Well,
because if Complexity does first pick it, then they be in a good position. So, yep.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. It's like, sure, we could leave her open maybe to try to get her with our first couple of picks, but you do have to go through the first pick. Complexity, of course, and could definitely see them first picking that Ophelia, so just better safe to disband it all together. Draconis, Ophelia, Demented Shaman, and Pebbles are the 4 bans overall so far, and now going to wait on one more for either side. And so yeah, B-Kid again banning that Demented Shaman just like the first game. Really just doesn't like to play against this hero, just like a couple others. So going to keep the Demented Shaman respected as a ban worthy. And there's Zephyr actually banned by B-Kid as well, so it worked so well for them last game. Maybe he figured myRevenge is going to be tempted to try it themselves, so doesn't want to have to deal with it this time around. Storyfighter making the point that apparently he was even going to ban Zephyr himself. So, but we'll have to change it up, and it is going to be a Tundra ban as the final ban coming out here. So
probably going to see a Silhouette here.
Yeah.
This seems to be B-Kid style. Whenever he has Silhouette open on the board, and with all these bans that he has so far, lots of jungles. Yep, it is Silhouette. So Silhouette most likely going to go in that short lane. They have junglers to boot out of that lockpick phase. And their lanes are already looking to shape up quite nicely because you have suicides, you have junglers in that lockpick. You can set up your lanes very safely here in the regular picking phase.
Apparently we need a remake. Okay. I don't. Yeah, I'm still not even certain what the first game remake was for. Okay, apparently Chessie cannot rejoin the game. Interesting. Well, okay, so I guess we'll just have a remake again. They'll be able to make it all pick at least, so not the longest downtime in between. But now back over to Story Fodder to see their first couple of picks. So at least we'll get to finish off the picking stage here before we move on to that part. But well, you know, you got something like a Magnus option here to eventually pair up with an Engineer from that lock pool if it works out. But actually, they're going to go a Luna Meraxis instead, and obviously that can tend to be a very powerful combination. So. Luna Meraxis, the start here for my revenge. Back over to Complexity, but you like that combo?
Yeah, if this was TDM, they would probably pick the same thing. They love Meraxis, they love Luna. Glacius Torture for Complexity, okay. Very interesting. So maybe going to go for a Glacius Torture lane in mid, or at least Torture solo mid, and then Silhouette bottom with Glacius, at least helping him out to start. Oh, okay, they're thinking as they want a strong dual range lane with good spam against a Luna Meraxis lane, and that's going to be effective. So Torture Glacius should do fine just against that Meraxis Luna lane. So they have that lane solidified. Lane 1. Okay, mid lane is now secured.
Yeah.
Their bottom lane most likely secured against another suicide, which is probably going to be Plague from my revenge, I want to say. Although there will be options. But, yeah, I like those picks.
Yeah. We'll see what Storyfooter decides to go with here as his final regular pick. You mentioned there are some suicide options in the lock pool there for them to pick up, so that they don't need to necessarily go suicide here. They could go more of their carry option here. In fact, unless they want to try to go for that War Beast or the Wretched Hag, obviously, in that lock pool. So yeah, some decisions, of course, to be made here. We'll see what they ultimately choose to go with. Probably not going to be a support, though. I think it's one safe bet.
Could be Dark Lady.
Yeah.
They could go solo short Dark Lady, or Forsaken Archer. Okay, that kind of fits the same idea. If they do decide to go Forsaken Archer in the solo lane, or solo short. And people forget sometimes just how strong she is in a solo role against the suicide. Like, she is very strong, 1v1, especially in a favorable lane like her short lane. So, Tempest is the first pickup for Complexity. I would have picked the same exact thing. I think it's a little bit stronger in their lineup. They don't want to spread out the farm too much between, the jungler, the Torture, the Silhouette. And so picking up a War Beast might not be the strongest. Also, just that ultimate is so powerful for the team comp. War Beast coming out for my revenge. I'm going to say Plague right here. It's going to be very effective in team fights. It's also going to cancel the Tempest ultimate once he gets the Shrunken Head. Oh, wow.
Okay. Are they going to suicide War Beast again?
They could. I mean, Storyfighter played that suicide role last game, and they swap him the War Beast, although they're going to have to remake anyway. But very interesting.
Yeah. Did not see that Engineer final pick coming. If anything, it would have been the other three that I would have expected, and definitely was leaning towards that Plague Rider with you. But no, Engineer, the final lock pick here, and I got to think that kind of confuses even Beakid a little bit. Not maybe confuses, but catches him even off guard. But now he gets his solid choice here of one of those three heroes, and could easily see a Plague Rider for themselves even now, as well as of course the Hag or Bubbles even. So any of these two are probably going to be the Bubbles or Plague Rider, probably not the Hag. As it is going to be Bubbles.
I was just going to say Bubbles. Bubbles is quite effective against War Beast and Meraxis in particular. True. So, I like that pickup.
True that. All right, so they are going to ready up here. Of course, we are going to have a remake, so don't get too ahead of ourselves. But, yeah, so again, my Revenge's lineup with the Engineer final pick, I believe it is going to be a War Beast suicide, unless... I don't see any unless, to be honest. I mean, what else did they do if it's not a War Beast suicide? So let's get it on.
I mean, they could go War Beast short lane, I suppose. But if you're gonna go War Beast short lane, why not just suicide him in the first place? It's probably gonna be a suicide War Beast.
Yeah.
And then 2 different dual lanes.
Well, sorry about that. All right, so yeah, we'll go ahead and get the new lobby created, the players pool, I should say, and then we'll be jumping into what is going to be game number 2 here again. Complexity versus my Revenge here. This is a losers bracket matchup, and apparently the only losers bracket matchup going on is the result of the Q Squad getting a forfeit win over TT Esports apparently in their series. So, and then of course later on today, so after this series, obviously we'll more than likely have a little bit of a break, but then it'll lead us into the Stay Green versus Trademark Esports, and that of course is a big time matchup that we're looking forward to. Stay Green coming off the momentum of defeating Complexity in their winners bracket semifinal matchup.
Yeah.
And hell, if they can pull through with a victory over TDM, you really got to start seriously considering Stay Green as a top contender right now on the HoN competitive scene. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Argue even for best. So
they had a good run coming into the HoN Tour qualifiers, but of course their roster was a little bit different then. They were running Skyzo and Sender as their main. I still don't know who is like bench and who's not. They seem to be switching that all the time, so it's kind of awkward. But I think Skyzo is in the regular lineup and Sender's kind of like the 6th man. Not 100% sure on that. But I really do feel like once they transitioned and had Slicks on the carry role, things started to get a little bit better for them.
Yeah. Again, there were several concerns initially. I mean, the big one for me, one being what ultimately was Slicks going to be playing for that team, and it seems like, as you were just saying, it seems like he has transitioned to more of that carry. And although that means KZU has been more of the suicide option for the team, it seems like. And you did make the point the last time we covered them, I believe it was against Complexity, that he himself, it seems like he is still trying to find that niche there as a suicide option.
Right.
But it definitely is advancing, and over time it eventually will be great, I'm sure. But it still seems like he's trying to work that out exactly. But
well, I will say this, even though I don't think he plays at least right now the best suicide. I haven't been that impressed, but I will say the situation they have is leaps and bounds better than when they had Swindle on support, because that just didn't work out at all.
Yeah.
That didn't work out at all. Swindle on support, Slicks as like the Magmus initiator in mid, and then Kzo that on carry. That was awful. Like it just did not mesh well. The situation they have right now, where it's kind of back to what it was, except KZU playing that suicide. Skyzo, I think, has stepped up as the main support, and then Slicks on main carry. That seems to work best for them.
Yeah, it seems like that's what they beat Complexity with, of course, that style of that makeup there. So. I think no one necessarily was against the idea of the team being able to be successful. It's just how were they going to pull it together? What was it ultimately going to happen as far as the roles and everything? It seems like things are getting a little bit more fine-tuned, though. And again, that goes to as a recent result against Complexity, and we'll see later on today against Trademark Esports how things stand for them. So
yeah.
Back to this game, though. Obviously, being all big here, so the chances of screwing anything up very, very minimal. But, okay, so my revenge, again, Warbeast Suicide, not something you talk about too often when seeing a Warbeast specifically. But by my revenge, they have when they were known as OTP, and it seems to have worked for them. I don't know what the exact win percentage is by any means, but it seems like it has definitely been successful for them. I mean, the fact that he can kind of play that Suicide role and then just spam his W for his team, which is his war card or whatever it's called, the Battle Cry. That's a pretty powerful tool when you think about it. So
it does add a lot of damage, and I'm very curious to see how they lane this. And seeing how Glacius and Torture are picked up for B-Kid, that might lead me to believe that they might go something like Forsaken Archer or Luna mid, and then Miraxis in the short lane with Engineer, because they don't really need that much in the short lane to shut down bubbles. So it would be smarter, I think, to have the strong dual range lane mid, especially since they're both range. If you do, like you said, up that war cry or the battle cry ability from Warbeast, it will do a lot of damage. But it looks like we might see
what the hell is this?
An aggressive tri-lane. Yeah, it's the new skin on Forsaken Archer.
What is that even supposed to be? Is that like a goblin or something?
I don't know.
Interesting. Well, all right. So I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. That is Forsaken Archer. Again, that's kind of a downside of just so many awesome skins coming out. As a caster, you're like, okay, I've never seen this before. Which I thank God they made the icons at least the default.
Yeah,
because that was getting ridiculous. Where you just saw these random. I had no clue what certain heroes were when I go join games, and I had to actually scroll over them. Anyways, okay, so you see right here, they are going to set 4 players down here and scout out with the courier again. They want to get that Ward of Sight down, and the Hellhound in the front lines even. And they did this the first game as well. It worked out very well, and Architegra is sure enough able to get that Ward of Sight down, of course, to initially block. So. Yeah, interesting though. I mean, what is ultimately going to happen here as far as their setup?
Solo short Warbeast. I mentioned this before. Remember, I was saying they could man up and do an aggressive tri-lane with their heroes. They do have that, but they're going to have a solo short Warbeast. And I'm like, if you're going to solo Warbeast, why not just throw them in the suicide lane? But they are going to be somewhat aggressive here against this silhouette being played by Haxor.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is what you're talking about, though. That and then the Forsaken Archer Luna is going to be mid, in fact.
Right.
To match up against the what you expect to be maybe a Torturer. Well, I don't know. I mean, now with this setup, if you're Franzi here on Glacius, who do you support? Do you support the Torturer or the Silhouette in this case?
You support bottom. You support your short lane. You don't want to support mid. It's too volatile. It's much better to support in the short lane because you have the lane positioning advantage. And that being said, actually, Warbeast is kind of screw that, as he says, pulling the wave actually with his Hellhounds.
Yeah.
So much for lane positioning, I guess.
Yeah, well, that screwed everything up, and it's a good start there for my Revenge, you could say. So that means it is going to be a solo Warbeast against a solo Bubbles, at least. I would think it's safe to say for Warbeast, this could be a better matchup than the Silhouette. I don't know. Seems like it could still be tough.
Yeah. Sorry, I was watching bottom. Silhouette missed like almost all those creeps as the pulling really screwed him up there. So unfortunately didn't get that. But sorry, Bubbles versus Warbeast, you were asking like how that lane.
Well, especially compared to Warbeast Silhouette, what we thought it might have been.
Oh yeah. Well, Bubbles should still be fine. Warbeast doesn't have. Oh, he does. Okay, they actually pulled him all regen. So he didn't buy any of his regen. He has Shield Hatchet, and that's good. If he didn't have that, he would get just destroyed. And he actually still might have a hard time up here against his Bubbles. Look at Moon. He's not really paying attention to CS, which he's playing this correctly. You really shouldn't. It should be all like, mostly auto attacks onto Warbeast as much as possible. Even spamming out just a little bit with his Shell Surf right there.
Yeah, as right as that Battlecry is why does Warbeast leveled up though? He leveled up Battlecry and he hit it right off the bat. So again, clearly he's going to take advantage of that and start spamming that as much as possible, not only for his benefit, but of course having a global presence. In fact, the cooldown goes up, and sure enough, red hands are glowing here for the whole team. So that's some nice added damage overall for both the last hitting, for the harassment, and for eventually pushing in the lane even. So
yeah.
Forsaken Archer, obviously he should have a very good time, and more so B-Kid should be locked down here playing this Torture in the middle lane, especially when it's a Forsaken Archer Luna. That could be a very deadly combination there with those two heroes. You do not want to get caught out. Invis Rune going to be picked up here by Glacius, as well as a countering. Good job right there. Meantime, in the jungle, though, Tempest getting caught. Moraxis and Engineer taking him out and falling back to the lane. So catching the tail end of that, but Chessie just getting caught out between the two, and they comboed for the kill.
I didn't see that either, but I mean he's very clearly standing right above a ward. Like they know they warded right there, so they had full vision of Tempest there. So yeah, like I said, I didn't see it, but you got to wonder, what Chessie was doing in that kind of vulnerable position.
Yeah. Yeah, so unfortunate for him right there. As Archie Tiger just, he's not going to censor. Just lets us know exactly what's going on here. Yeah, so unfortunate for Complexity, but obviously great start for my Revenge, and who actually got the kill was Zibe there on Moraxis. So his creep farm, it's not the most impressive. 6-0 started here, 2.5 minutes in, but obviously the Bloodlust kill doing some work. But on that note, Silhouette's farm is actually better right now than Moraxis. He is 7-5 actually. So despite this start with the Hellhounds doing the creep pull, kind of screwing things up initially, as you were saying, it seems like Haxorn is not doing too shabby here when it comes to her creep farm, and obviously Glacius being that support is also helpful down here at the bottom lane.
Yeah, it could have been a little bit better. Like I think he could just kind of timed the creeps not so well when it was hitting the tower. He was kind of fogging them, but normally you just want to just kind of kite around the tower as best as can. Hit them once. I think that's the magic number when they're at full HP. It depends based on how much damage items you have and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, his CS actually right now, despite that little creep point from Warbeast, is not that bad. But bottom lane, we do have an Invis Glacius here for another 40 seconds. So if Tempest actually TPs here, even though he actually didn't level up his stun, so that would be a huge waste of mana. But they might look to go on this Engineer. The thing about Engineer, though, is like I said, his starting stats are actually not that bad. Look, he's got 587 base health right now with one stat item, a minor totem, but Glacius, compare that to Glacius, who has 2 minor totems, 511 HP. So
yeah, good point. So we'll see if Tempest perhaps does he even have the gold for a TP. Yeah, he does have the gold for a TP if he wants to use it for that purpose. But you also he also has only level 1 Glacial Blast, so it'd only be the 1 stun from that, as well as minimal damage. Might not work out in the end, but we'll see what Complexity decides to do coming out of that. But yeah, looking at the middle lane matchup again, Torture versus this Forsaken Archer Luna, and Fuzi, as expected, is off to a much better start here, 10-4. compared to the 2-2 Torturer currently. Of course, Torturer, he is a level 2 Agonizing Bond, so definitely just going to use that as much as possible to both harass and get some creep kills sneaked in there for himself. So,
yep.
Keep an eye on that and how that progresses. It looks like both teams are ready, though. It should be coming out of the pause. But then you have Bubbles up against Warbeast at the top lane. Bubbles 10-1 against a Warbeast who's 9-1, actually. So pretty back and forth there. Bottom lane, we'll see if Glacius opens. He does have the minions still here, does Chessie. They're going to be despawning, though. So not going to be able to use that.
Yeah. Now, Warbeast has eaten through all of his regen at the moment. He did buy a, what is this actually called here? This Trinket of Restoration to give him some more like static regen on top of that, but doesn't have any more consumables. And that does go into Abyssal Skull, so that's going to be good for him. Torture is forced back as he almost dies right there. I didn't catch that, but
yeah.
He's going to be falling back all the way to the well and doesn't really have any farm at all, like as he says in alt chat, suffer lane again.
Well, he actually, he nearly got killed, but he actually activated his health potion, but Aluna ran up the hill real quickly and deactivated it right away. So he was thinking about, obviously he wanted to stay in the lane, but after that he just had no choice with that power throw threat. So had to fall back all the way back to base. He is going to TP back to the middle lane, but yeah, B-Kid, he indeed is in a suffer lane here. So do not expect him to have the greatest starts for. And right as he ports back, he takes a power throw to the face. So unfortunate for him there. Level 2 Battle Cry, or I keep going with Battle Cry. Yeah, that's what it is. That's why I called it that. So level 2 Battle Cry leveled up here now by Warbeast. So again, just spamming that and constantly seeing the red glowing hands all throughout this Hellborn team as a result. Taking advantage of that. Big time freeze here at the bottom lane on a Meraxis. Not a whole lot of follow-up, though. Just more so harassment, I guess, from Glacius. And again, Silhouette, her farm, not doing too bad at all. 14-8 now. So the Glacius support is definitely working down here. Yep,
absolutely. Warbeast, as of course, is leveling up that Battle Cry here. Giving, what is it? How much damage is it now? It's 33 attack damage to himself and allied heroes. So when he activates that, is it active right now? It's not. But that Forsaken Archer is going to have basically 100 damage.
Yeah.
Maximum damage, which is pretty huge, yeah.
Early on. There we go. 98 damage, max damage right now once it's activated. It's level 3 of that, so pretty damn nice for him. And actually, Torture is taking advantage of who's missing. Aluna's currently missing from the middle lane because she's down bottom here. In fact, running into Silhouette, but doesn't really have the follow-up just yet to go for initiation. So Silhouette will be fine as well. But yeah, Luna Roma bottom. Not able to set up a gank just yet, though. Kind of curious about that.
Yep, the Battle Cry is activated yet again, but this passive play is going to favor Complexity because they have a jungler. Now, despite the fact that Chessie died right there, had he not died, it would have been huge for them. But they still actually have a pretty decent lead and experience. There's a minor gold deficit, but that's pretty negligible at this point. But 1,200 experience lead and rising is really good for Complexity.
Yeah, so like I was saying there, I mean, Aluna attempting to set up something in the bottom lane, but nothing happened. And actually, Glacius even roaming to the middle lane now to kind of support Torture a little bit here, as Aluna, though, falls back. So we right now have a 2 versus 2 mid lane all of a sudden. B-Kid has managed to get at least a couple more creep kills in that free time, so that's good news for him. But now with Aluna back, Forsaken Archer should start to, once again, keep a pretty solid control here. And Torture will have to, yet again, worry. Now, Glacius is roaming to the top lane. He was not spotted, I don't believe, at least. There are no wards up here. And they may try to set something up onto this Warbeast. Now, Warbeast is level 6, so, of course, ain't going to be slowing him if he's able to activate that ulti form. He does get his power supply delivered right there. And he also has boots on top of that, so Glacius attempting to go in for a gank, but it looks like he's it's not going to work, and he's instead going to go back towards the middle lane. What is Chessie doing, actually? Okay, Chessie's sending his elementals all the way to the top rune up here to kind of protect that, I guess. But it ends up spawning bottom, and it was picked up. Yeah, bottled up, the illusions, by Aluna. Meanwhile, at the top, and as I said, Warbeast being locked down. There's a Kelfield on top of him. He's trying to have a nice timing right there from Storyfooter, and he will survive. Bubbles is great against Warbeast for that reason, but perfect timing on his part. It disappeared right as he broke it.
Very well done by Storyfooter. I mean, that was exact response. Actually, Haxton gets a kill on Znawi here in the mid, taking advantage of him being kind of under-leveled and roaming around there in the bottom rune. Haxton might be in a little bit of trouble, though. You have Ghost Marches up on Meraxis. Oh, he misses the first stacks, kind of sidestepping it just a little bit. There goes Haxton. Nice tree grapple, walking back to get the stun. So kind of a missed opportunity there, unfortunately, for Meraxis, but good job by Complexity.
And then the top tower going down. We're just hitting the 7-minute mark, so kind of a snowball effect right there for Complexity. And just like that, a 1,500 gold lead, 1,700 experience all of a sudden. So Despite even Warby staying alive right there, I mean, obviously it opened up that top lane to be freely pushed, and you also mentioned Haxter managing to pick off a Luna there as she was roaming around a little bit. And actually, they may just keep this push going now and force our Hellborn team in my revenge to put up a stand here at the top lane. We'll see what they make happen here.
Yeah. Now, the thing about Warbeast, too, that kind of backfires is obviously those Hellhounds are a really strong ability, but they're only level 1 at this point. So basically don't do anything except for scouting out. Miraxis does TP top, but he's kind of under-leveled, so this TP is not really going to be that effective. I think that maybe one person like a Luna could have just done a fine job, and then Luna waits there until Warbeast comes up there. But Miraxis, as a result, is not going to have exactly the earliest portal key. Also, the Ghost Marchers, I feel, is kind of awkward in itself. You know, most of the time we do see Steam Boots, and for good reason. When you get something like a bottle, which he does have, you can use it very effectively, have a very nice mana pool. When you're spamming your axes, when you're spamming your ult, all of your abilities cost you know, a little bit of mana, and he doesn't exactly have the highest mana pool, so that's why we see Steam Boots all the time onto a hero like Miraxis.
Yeah, obviously, you know, Steam Boots is one of those items. Actually, hold that thought for a second. We do have Torture getting cut out right here. Crippling Volley could have missed, though. He is currently invis. Now, there was a revelation. That's why they could see him initially, but he's going to stay invis, and he'll run right past this Warbeast. He's coming to the top lane, and actually now Miraxis is in a lot of trouble. He does have Matrix to use. Can he get it off in time? Will it be necessary? Ports are coming in, but Miraxis keeps running, actually. I thought they may have looked for a turn attempt, but they decided not to. Torture is still invis off to the side, actually. And gonna still try to pick somebody off. Maybe this Warbeast. Warbeast farming away in the jungle by himself. But no, Complexity is gonna just keep pushing this top tower. The replicants are out from Tempest. And this tower could very likely fall right here. It's very, very low. Torture may have been seen right there with the invis. In fact, he's going to be axed right there. The tower invulnerability coming out. Port's coming in. Luna's going to be coming in. And here we go. Tempest going to be stunned. The turret on top of that. Tempest trying to get an ulti range, but the tower falls. Chain reaction sitting Engineer right there. And actually, a Luna getting caught in the corner. She will end up falling. There's that Tempest. A little bit nice kicks it initially, but it just doesn't matter. Down goes Engineer. Down goes a Luna. Tempest and Torture were picked off, though, and actually Storyfooter doing some good damage here. Bubbles will be able to port it out before it's all said and done. So interesting exchanging going on as Haxter running off, fall back from the bottom lane. Yeah,
really well played there by Moon there, catching that Kelp field on 2 heroes and cleaning up when otherwise they wouldn't have been able to. I feel like BK kind of juked his team right there. Like he kept giving them the indication that he was going to stun, but it never stunned. And it kept, you know, I think it kind of caught Chessie off guard just a little bit. Like he wasn't exactly sure what BK was wanting to do.
Yeah.
And like I said, for that reason, I think he kind of juked his team. And they did get a good exchange. Obviously, it was 2 for 2. And you did get the tower. Well, actually, they didn't get the tower, but it was pressured. In the meantime, Haxton was farming bottom. So it was still a fine exchange for them as they look at the gold. It has increased to 3,300 in favor of Complexity.
They got the tower. They got the tower up top.
No, bottom.
Oh, bottom. Okay, I thought that, okay.
Yeah, they got that tower as well. So.
Yeah, they got the secondary top tower, but yeah, at least Haxton sure didn't get the bottom tower, but she wasn't even there in that fight. I mean, he was just farming here. And in fact, speaking of the bottom tower, it is going to be destroyed. The deny attempt from Warbeast, just not quick enough though. Chessie gets credit for the kill, and look at the gold lead all of a sudden. Nearly a 5,000 gold lead already for Complexity, as we are now only 10.5 minutes into this game. I just saw a portal key purchase, by the way. Who was it on? It was on Bubbles, actually. Wow. So Portal Key, Steam Boots, and Ring of the Teacher already picked up by myR here. As he is the top farm in the game, man. 400 gold per minute. So myR doing work. He's 2-0-0. He's obviously been involved in the tower pushing and whatnot. It's showing with his farm.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, he did have, I don't want to say it was an easy lane, but it was a good lane for him. Like, Warbeast did get pooled 200 gold worth of regen and ferried himself 2 more health potions after that on top of the Trinket of Restoration. Has hold that thought. Miraxis in a lot of trouble. He does have to be the ultimate. Good sidestep there from Moon. I don't think they're going to have enough damage, at least right now, to kill Miraxis, but they do bait out the ultimate.
Yeah, so sure. I mean, that's how Miraxis works, of course. Didn't get the kill because of that Matrix, but myR was very close to getting turned off if it turned on if it wasn't for that Quake Stun missing. So, but as you used to put it, I think that was actually more of a case of myR expecting that. Good sidestep by him. So, well played indeed by myR. And again, he's been a driving force in this game for Complexity. Farming is still remaining to be the top farmer in the game, and again, kind of showing here. So with that portal key, can definitely make work, and obviously Bubbles in general, great against a hero like Warbeast. And speaking of Warbeast, actually, 260 gold per minute himself. So, you know, playing that short lane Warbeast here this time around. The minions are under-leveled, you stress that point. It's only level 2 right now for his Hellhounds. And so he is in the jungle a little bit, but again, with the Hellhounds being under-leveled, it's maybe a little bit more difficult than if he was the normal jungling style. So
Kind of wondering why he leveled his passive at all, now that I think about it.
true.
Like, adds 10% base damage and 10 attack speed, like, who cares? I'd rather have my Hellhounds be level 4 at this point. So, yeah, that kind of struck me. At first I was like, oh, okay, just a little bit of his passive, but I'm like, yeah, it kind of seems like a wasted skill point, in my opinion. Or talent point, as you would say.
Yes, that's exactly what I would say. They're going to jump here at the bottom. Top lane is going to be Forsaken. Archer getting caught out. Kelfin holding him in the place. The ports are coming in. It's not going to be in time. The Fuzzy will fall. He got the illusion off, though, first. And Tempest will fall as a result. So good, at least, counter there coming out from Fuzzy. Yeah. Making the best of a bad situation. Storyfooter still chasing her on a Bubbles. But I believe Bubbles should be able to Shell Surf in 1 second. There we go with the Shell Surf. And there's the port. And he should, although actually Hellhound is here. So, we portal keys right before the attack, though. And he will survive. So that actually got a little bit hairy there at the last second. But he survives. And, well, it ended up being a 1-for-1. So sure, Tempest got, he lived first and got the kill. But at least a good turnaround coming up from Forsaken Archer. Middle in the meantime, nice chain reactions from Beacon right there. Perfect placement on more Axis. He still may not be out of there just yet. Doing some side steps. Oh, he dodges another axe. 2 axes dodging in a row. The third one won't connect. But now with the silhouette support, more Axis will turn around.
They could have turned that so easily. Why? What a big man down right there. Silhouette was ready to go.
Yeah.
Now, she didn't have much HP, but that was an easy turn. I'm disappointed.
More Axis did have his ultimate, so maybe
Engineer was tanking creeps behind, got to half HP.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Still, good play initially by B-Kid, of course, coming out as doing some good dodging there on the Axis. He does finish his, well, he has a Steam Boots Grave Locket and a Power Supply now, so what was a horrid start here for B-Kid because of the lane specifically. Still not taken off by any means, but it's at 245, a comfortable comeback here for him, definitely. So some more good news all across the board for Complexity. Nice catch right there by myR. He solo kills more Axis. He jumps him, Kelpfield, Song of the Sea, and Shell Surf. Just some great burst damage as we see right there. Takes advantage of his portal key, man, early on, and taking out more Axis by himself. Not something you would expect.
Yeah, and that's going to further the delay of Morax's portal key. He's got 1,600 right now. He's going to have it probably in another 2 minutes or so. But, when you're like a free farmer in this game, you're going to want to have it like 2 minutes ago. Like the 10-minute mark, the 11-minute mark, something like that. So Morax is not exactly off to the best start. Neither is Fuzzy, really. I mean, Fuzzy, look at his items. It's not really that impressive, to be honest.
For what was a free farming lane, really, in the middle lane for most of it, I 100% agree. It's definitely, the fact that he's not even over 300 gold per minute, it's disturbing for myR Revenge. I mean, you really were banking on him having a great start, as frankly he should have, but for whatever reason hasn't been able to really do the greatest. He is 2-1-0 overall in hero kill stats, so I guess you just got to kind of resort that to just maybe just creep farm in general hasn't necessarily been all there. But yeah, Fuzzy not looking at the greatest start despite the circumstances, but he will have a Whispering Helm here very shortly. In fact, he has enough gold for it now, if that's what he chooses to get, and of course that can help enhance his farm even more. But that does mean usually with a pickup like that, Steam Boost and a Whispering Helm, that you do commit to more of a later game rather than making something happen here earlier on. So we'll see if he finishes that. But yeah, that portal key being delayed on Morax is definitely hindering them, as Forsaken Archer getting jumped by Bubbles at the top lane, but doesn't look like Bubbles is going to follow that up. But portal key 1830 gold saved up right now on Moraxis, so he is getting closer, and of course they can start trying to take advantage of that at least.
Trying to bait him mid at least right now. There are 2 heroes sitting behind him, both Aluna and Engineer, but doesn't look like Complexity is going to take the bait. As I was going to talk about one other thing
portal key. He jumps in right there with Bubbles, the Song of the Sea. No ultimate going to be used, though, for Forsaken Archer will fall. There was an ultimate used in the kill field. And myR gets the bitch slap kill on top of that. So the double portal key surprise. Catching Forsaken Archer right there.
Yeah, and actually, Luna's kind of in a interesting spot as the blink coming out very aggressively from Tempest. Moon might be able to follow as well. He actually doesn't have very much mana, and this is the reason why. But Tempest looking for a solo kill. No, here comes Moon. One more auto attack, and he does get it. So myR does get the onslaught streak right there with assistance from Chessie.
Jeez, 6-0-0 now for myR. It is starting to snowball a little bit here in favor of Complexity. Really, myR Revenge, they need to start calming that down quickly, or else it could get out of hand. Portal key has been purchased by Moraxis finally, so he does have that working for him. And actually poured up here to the top lane. Portal key going to be going away from Tempest. Here comes Warby's charging in. Keck's not going to completely miss right there. myR going to go for the port, actually. And he should be good. Yes, wow. A lot of damage started happening, but he knew they didn't have any stuns left, so smart decision there from myR. The middle tower going down. Tempest in the meantime, he's going to be exploded on by myRaxis. And so at least myRaxis will take advantage of that newly purchased portal key right away and get a kill with it. And now he's actually chasing Torturer here. He's using some bottle charges. Oh, he ninjas right there, the illusion rune actually. So now he has that to use. Chain reactions will hit. Engineer coming in. Can he land the keg? The axe is going to miss right there. The keg set it will connect, pushing him forward though. There's an axe going to land. And now Torturer in a lot of trouble. Impalement's going to be activated right there. He has support coming in. Bubbles right here. Bubbles going to shell serve. Stuck on the sea coming out. And myRaxis dodging the chain reactions out. But the Impalement's too much. myR picks up a double tap with the kelp field on top of it all. myR playing out of his mind this game, it seems like. He is 8-0-0 now. 410 gold per minute.
Yeah, he's playing really well. I actually think in the last exchange when he was with Tempest, he could have blinked and helped him a lot earlier. And then we could actually miss that stun right there, but it doesn't matter. The kelp field, I think just the initial damage killed them both. That was kind of funny to watch. Actually, Warbeast is in a lot of trouble. He just barely got enough mana to use that ultimate. There's the ultimate from Tempest. The volley obviously doesn't cancel it. He's taking a lot of damage, but still holding Strike Fighter into place. One more auto attack from Moon. No! It's still not enough. 5 HP onto Warbeast. Bubble still might make a play here. He has a portal key. He actually blinks in on a Forsaken Archer aggressively. I don't know if he's going to have enough damage. The Shell Surf does not hit. And actually, Story Fighter gets away. So that was a good exchange for myRevenge.
Yeah, definitely a plays that they need right now. I mean, they're losing 96 in hero kills, but more importantly, 89, now 9,000 gold lead and a 6,000 experience lead in favor of Complexity. What is Beacon doing by himself up here? Whoa, I thought that was an illusion for a second, but for some reason, Beacon completely going suicidal apparently. Just charging up here by himself. And he just got caught out. I mean, I know they don't have vision here in the jungle, but, well, that's a reason not to charge in like that, so. Oops.
Yeah. I don't know. Just got caught out, I guess. Hasn't exactly had, well, he's been pretty effective, I guess, this game. Yeah. But him and Chessie have died, are the only two people to die on this team so far. 2 deaths on Beacon, 5 on Chessie.
Oh,
look at those little minions by Forsaken Archer. What the hell are those?
Okay, I was actually curious. Where is Forsaken? There she is.
Those are some weird looking skeleton minions.
What the hell? It's like a... Huh. It's like an imp or something. Yeah, that's really weird. They're creepy, man. Are they like monkeys, actually? What the hell?
I have no... it says skeletal minions still, but maybe that's just the text from before, but... Are you zooming in on it?
I am. I'm trying to get like an actual idea of what... Anyways. Other things we're amused by. Oh, during all that, I miss a kill. Story Footer actually going down here. It looks like Kelpfoot again used by myR. He's now a champion of New Earth. 9-0-0, though. They do jump Haxman at the bottom lane. She looks like she's going to be comboed down, as yes, the follow-up is there, and she will fall. But in the meantime, Complexity is going to try to counter-push the middle lane after that happened. But they need to be careful because obviously the Hellborn team is nearby. They were just at the bottom side. They do have a portal key on myRaxis. So you do not want to get caught off guard right here, and they're just going to portal key away before too much happens. So good catch on the Haxman at least coming out from myRevenge, although Warbeast did fall initially though, so still you could even argue better for Complexity in the end. But
yeah, Moon actually bypassed those illusion rune up in the top lane. I don't know if he was saving that for someone, but no one has a bottle, so kind of just tunnel vision there on those creeps, I guess. The Ancients are triple stack, so that's going to be good for Haxton to pick up. He does have his Null Stone. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about for a second, was the Null Stone. Now, on paper, there's really nothing that cancels a Null Stone except for the stun, the initial stun, directly onto a hero from a Luna. But, of course, when you're up against myRaxis, you can safely assume that he will buy a Hellflower or a Sheepstick sometime in the game. So, not to mention just the overall regen item, the regen that you get from Nullstone is quite effective onto a hero like Silhouette.
Yeah. Now Warbeast is chasing Franzi here, level 7 Glacius, but Tempest nearby. Glacial Blast going to be used. He still wants to chase, but he might want to turn around shortly. In fact, he will. Oh. The Hellhounds actually finish him off, or his Nui finishes him off. It's the Hellhounds assisting, but it's Nui with the power throw gets the kill. So ultimately the chase was successful there. Coming up for Warbeast, and actually Haxton in the meantime. No, the Quake Stun missing from myRaxis right there. That would have been a guaranteed kill, it seems like, if he was able to land that stem, but just missing it. And now turnaround potential for Complexity with the support nearby. And these are just
fantastic kill
but the kill field coming in, hitting 3 heroes. Actually, myRaxis will fall. Down goes another kill. Luna will fall as well. Great kill foot, as you said, by myR. He is 10-0-2 now. He really is carrying Complexity here, it seems like.
He is. Top farmer in the game. Carry Bubbles coming out. He's almost got his own Hellflower. Speaking of Hellflowers, Firebrand picked up on Forsaken Archer, but that's not going to be what you need to overcome the sheer damage and magic damage that you have so far coming out from Bubbles and Torturer. The auto attack damage is going to start to pay dividends for Silhouette here. as they get the mid tier 2 towers. So yeah, Complexity in a fantastic spot right now. Moon Meander on a bloodbath, 10-0-2. He's been a part of 12 out of the 13 kills on his team.
That's what you want to see. This is really a perfect game for Bubbles, and if you look at it from that perspective, everything's coming together. You mentioned the Hellfire nearly. In fact, it's going to be delivered here. Or he has it very, very shortly, I should say. And then he's also going to be level 16 here in the very near future, making his Kelfield even that much more effective, of course. So he's just cleaning up the Hellborn jungle. And again, you look at my Revenge across the board, nothing really glaringly like sending out, okay, well, this is what's great for them. I mean, sure, you got a War Beast, 350 gold per minute, very solid there. In fact, look at his build, by the way. He actually went Shield Breaker after the Abyssal Skull Steam Boost. So going the Shield Breaker route for more individual damage output. Tempest will fall right there. 2 Story Footer, speaking of him. As, of course, he gets some assistance from both the Luna and Engineer right there. So good catch. And Chessie, man. Talk about Moonmeander's going crazy, but Chessie's 0-6-4 this game.
Yeah.
He has not been really able to. Granted, he's farming 300 gold per minute, but struggling in that sense. And actually, there's a little for Kongor here, and it is dropping pretty damn fast.
Yeah, and I will say, actually, in general, I feel like Chessie's the one player on their team that dies the least. He usually seems to avoid death quite nicely, but this game is an exception, I suppose, because he has died a lot. Kongor does die very quickly to this team, specifically from War Beast. And
double damage Forsaken doesn't hurt.
Oh, and there you go, yeah. And War Beast, as you mentioned, is going for that Shield Breaker route, and doesn't exactly have much attack speed, but is putting out some damage, and the Token of Life goes for Forsaken Archer.
Duh. I just put out the damage chart out of curiosity, and, well, I guess it's not too surprising. Bubbles 31%, and no one else even damn close. So, Hellfire initiation. Speaking of Bubbles right here, onto the cuff. Going to be as he dodges the Shell Surf, but he still might be in trouble. Dodging the chain reactions. Look at Miraculous just running around all sporadically. Quake's on a will miss, though, because of the take cover coming out from Bubbles, and now he has the Shell Surf in 5 seconds, but he's going to be chased down. There's going to be trouble for him. Another take cover, though, and he will be fine when it's all said and done. So, don't get the kill, but no counter kill either, and both teams will just fall back as if nothing happened right there. So good play by both sides, I guess.
I think Moon was on panic mode right there because he missed absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Like he jumped in, his Shell Surf was completely off the mark, and then he used the Song of the Sea on thin air. So that could have been a very easy kill, but unfortunately making a little bit of a mistake right there.
Yeah. Now, Silhouette again, though. Haxorin, I don't want to say she's been quiet by any means, but Haxorin's been doing his thing here as far as farm goes. He has actually overtaken as the top farm in the game. Items showing that. The Portal Key on top of that Nullstone, as you mentioned earlier. In fact, we could have some fight going on right here. Mirax's going to catch Silhouette in the jungle. Kex's going to completely miss. Energy Field coming out, but she ports out with the illusion. Token of Life going to be used right here on Forsaken Archer and Sea Resurrects. Warbeast is chasing. Going to take a stun, however. Despite doing that Shieldbreaker damage, she can be CC'd fairly easily. Not slowed, though. Of course, Glacia's barely surviving in the background. And throughout that whole exchange, nobody ends up dying on either side. So Token of Life was used, though, so I guess you got to give favor to Complexity there.
A good support by B-Kid. That was the second time he's used it. Oh, actually the snipe coming out. And it does hit Franzi! So now his snipe does connect. They did have a little bit of vision there as he was walking that direction. But on the mark, that was the second time he's had a global snipe like that.
Yeah, very well placed right there, catching that really as Glacius explodes. So awesome snipe indeed. And so maybe a little bit of, well, obviously there's a little bit of positive reinforcement there, but still I think getting the Token of Life used in favor of Complexity still ends up having them win that fight, you can classify. So, but as I was talking about just before that fight happened, I mean, look at Haxorin, man. The Portal Key Nullstone already finished. He has another 1,500 gold saved up. He is now at 436 gold per minute here and counting. So he is starting to get a very dangerous set here, or a farm here going on. So,
but I wanted to give props a little bit to B-Kid. As that's the second time that he saved somebody with that push poke in a very, very good situation. Like he used it quite effectively, saving. Well, I guess I can't really say he saved Glacius because Glacius still died, but. He saved him initially,
yeah.
And then Glacius died on his own accord a little bit after that. But
yeah, you see Glacius going to counter ward, but it's a good thing he fell back and didn't commit to that because, as we see right there, the Revelation, it wears out. It was going to wear out in 5 seconds anyway, so he falls back and plays as safe as he should have. But in the meantime, speaking of B-Kid, he will clean up these Ancients. And again, B-Kid, as he even put it earlier on, it was just the death lane basically for him, a 1 versus 2 versus a Forsaken Archer, a Luna as a Torture, not in the most ideal situation, but GPM right now, he has 340 gold per minute, he's level 13, and you talked about the tablet he has, and how he's already used that very effectively, and the makings of very possibly that Shrunken Head now, so
yeah.
Good news there again for Complexity. Back to the Hellborn side, though. Things are starting to add up for them, too. You got Forsaken Archer. Actually, she did go the Mighty Blade. She has a Firebrand purchased here, so we'll see more than likely now a Shrunken Head main. Maybe the Geometer's main first. We'll see what she likes to go here. But then you got Warbeast, level 3 Shieldbreaker? Yeah, level 3 Shieldbreaker finished. So now that he's got that finished, where would you like to see Warbeast go next year?
He definitely needs a Shrunken Head. Now, the only problem with that is Tempest is actually very good against Warbeast as well. Even if you have that Shrunken Head, no matter what, you can still cancel his ultimate, so to speak, by keeping him in place. He can't run away. Obviously, he still has max speed, but it doesn't matter because of the Tempest ultimate. So, still, you know, against Bubbles, against the Hellflower, against Torture, all these stuns and slows from Glacius and what have you, a Shrunken Head is definitely necessary for Warbeast at this time.
I mean, what? So yeah, Shrunken Head will be great, of course, for him, but look at how hard he's hitting, man. When he has the Battle Cry activated, which he's probably going to use right here as soon as it comes up, it was at, I want to say around 268 damage, max damage. I mean, he is hitting hard. And
273.
273, yeah. We do have initiation down here at the bottom lane. Luna's going to be jumped up by Bubbles and Silhouette. Silhouette will get out with the illusion, but Bubbles may die right here, and this is going to be a big streak stopped if they are successful. Takeover going to be used, but he's not going to be able to get away. And Xibe on Moraxis will get that 730 bonus gold as a result of that kill, so definitely don't think it was worth it. I mean, they got a Luna for a Bubbles with a streak ender, and not the most ideal of situations there for Complexity. So good catch, counter catch there by myR. Look at the Hellhounds blocking Torture in the meantime, but a good tablet again, and he'll be fine. It's a good microwing going on for Storyfooter there.
Yeah,
still not enough to set up the kill.
Yeah, that was not a good exchange for Complexity. Moon just getting a little overzealous, I think, and having that extra gold onto Morax is going to help him. He bought a Helm of the Black Legion, by the way, in between his portal key and what's probably going to be a Hellflower, as he saved up now 1,800 gold, so he's going to be a little bit closer to what's probably going to be that Hellflower.
Yeah, and the Exhale says double damage. Rune activate, going to jump right here on Torture is doing the Ancient. She gets picked off. Fuzi actually getting credit for the kill right there on Forsaken Archer. So it's starting to seem like some momentum picking up here for myR. They get a couple of kills. They're going to take out the tower here in the middle lane. And again, you just look at that Battle Cry doing work, man. I mean, all across the board, you see the glowing red hands. So not only for Warbeast, his damage is impressive, but you got a Forsaken Archer who's doing quite a bit. Morax is assisting with some good damage. Still has a double damage. In fact, jumps Tempest right there. And Jesse will just melt away. Complexity one by one, falling apart, it seems like. And they push the secondary middle tower. And they may start going to the base here.
Yeah. Now, this is one thing where it's like, okay, how much farm do you want to get onto your carry before they need to start being active? Like, I'm not trying to say it's his fault by any means, but I do feel like he could be a lot more active this game. I think he can help a lot more. Actually, we have some initiation.
Gelfield jumping in. The shell server top that he ports away from the kickstone right there. Warbeast being locked out. Warbeast will be locked out. The Tempest ultimate. That's a great placement from Chessie right there. That's going to be huge. And speaking of Silhouette getting active, she joins the party. She picks up a kill right there. The chase is still on, but the port's already happened, and that's exactly what Complexity needed right there in that situation. And Warbeast did buy back, by the way, and he's going to look to maybe defend the top or the bottom lane, but big fight for Complexity. Now they're going to look to counter push here as a result.
That was well, there was a number of things with her. Yeah, he finally did get active, but like I said, you can be extremely active with Silhouette without any damage items with just a Nullstone blink. Like, you really can. So he waited until that Shrunken Head. That was really close from being bad because Chessie does not have a Shrunken Head, and you could actually hear Engineer trying to get that ultimate off. He's doing his like little shouting, whatever he means. And actually, Silhouette jumps in. Hellfire applied. Oh my God! Forsaken Archer just gets melted right there. The swap coming out from Silhouette. He'll be fine. And right there, you see that action with the Hellfire on top of the blink tree grapple from Silhouette. Does massive damage to Forsaken Archer.
Yeah, Forsaken has a Shrunken Head, but the Hellflower just obviously preventing her from even using that, and just simply got bursted down right there. So it seemed like, I mean, look at the golden experience. Okay, so I took a glance at that as myR was making that counter there, or the push, I should say, in the middle lane. It was dropped all the way down to about 4,700 gold, I want to say, and about 5,400 experience. Now look at it just a minute later. We have
over
Complexity
double.
over double, exactly. 11.5k gold lead, 14,000 experience lead. It's pretty ridiculous how that could just swing so much like that in so little time.
Oh, like I was saying, though, the Engineer ultimate was like, he was right in the process of casting it, and it was Hellflowered actually by Moon Meander. And had he got that ultimate off, either Chessie would have blinked in and done nothing because he would have gotten silenced, or he would have had to wait, which would have given him time to walk away.
Oh, Moraxis is going to be jumped right here. He's being locked down. Silhouette in the background, pounding in the auto text. Moraxis will fall. Engineer gets the energy field off, but he dies in the process. Bubbles taking a lot of damage. He's going to try to take cover and get the hell out of there. Starfighter is chasing the great Illuna stun. We'll get the kill on Bubbles. Glacier is going to pour it out, it looks like. Torture going to be picked off, though. And now Silhouette completely on the run. Does not have her illusion. She does have a Portal Key. Moraxis jumping in, but Silhouette going in the other direction. And I believe Haxorn should be fine in the end. So, Complexity, they do commit to a bit of a fight right there in the base. And in the end, it seems like myRevenge is able to hold that off. So still a solid lead here overall for Complexity, but now myRevenge, it's their turn once again to make a little bit of a counter there. I should say. So.
Yeah, definitely. Now you're finally going to have a damage item probably on Silhouette, and he is going to go for the Slayer, so I always think that Shield Breaker is just so good on her, and I never see people go for it anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously, Savage Mace is great too, but, you know, with heroes that don't exactly have that much armor, like, yeah, Moraxis, it's not overwhelming. The thing is, okay, yeah, he does have an ability that gives him armor, but he's not a hero that really goes for armor items. Like, you don't see Demonic Breastplate, at least that often picked up on him. Warbeast doesn't really have that much armor to begin with until he starts. Oh, actually has a Brutalizer now picked up. I just always find that so strange.
Yeah.
You don't have attack speed, but
he's going to be doing damage, man.
He's going to be doing damage, but at least having the. Like, if you want to do damage, then don't get Brutalizer. If you want to stun them, then get, you know, Demonic before Brutalizer. So I don't know. This is not my flavor. But anyway, I was rambling. I forgot where my train of thought was going. I'll let you take over.
You were talking about the, I think the Slayer picked up on, so you mentioned that, but more access and,
well, whatever.
You know, the armor, that's what it was. The lack of armor here on the Hellborn side, and how a Shield Breaker could be powerful for Silhouette. But going the Savage Mace route in the end. Warbeast does go the Brutalizer, though, and to look at his max damage, man, 326 maximum damage. But still, okay, so it's one thing to want to go attack speed before that, but he still doesn't have a Shrunken Head either. He still is very vulnerable in terms of CC in these team fights, so that's another thing that's really standing out. Now, you did make the point that maybe this is ultimately why, even with the Shrunken Head, Tempest Ultimate wouldn't matter. So perhaps that's his thinking, where it's like, it's just not worth it, I might as well just go for more raw damage, but we'll see how that works out. Now, a good counter against a hero like Warbeast is something like a Void Talisman, and that is actually just purchased by Franzi. So Glacius managing to get the farm, despite all the warding going on from him, to spend the 1,500 gold on a Void Talisman, and of course a very powerful tool, like I just said, against Warbeast. Good news there. Warbeast is farming pretty well, though. 437 gold per minute. He's starting to catch up, at least, to Haxorn here. Bubbles jumping a Luna in the bottom lane in the meantime, and actually gets the kill, and on top of that picks up a Bound Eye as a result of the kill. So good snipe out from Moomiander right there. It's been a while since it's got an active kill like that, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, good job for him. That Bound Eye is going to be huge, too. And he has a plate mail right now in Bubbles, and is going to look to get a Frostfield plate, it looks like.
Yeah, and again, that goes back to the idea specifically for, well, Warbeast and Forsaken Archer, frankly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of physical damage coming out here, so.
Forsaken Archer is so damn squishy, man.
Yeah.
My God. Like, yeah, he has a Shrunken Head, but 1,200 HP, and when you get that Hellfire on you, obviously you can't pop your Shrunken Head, and then the extra damage applied to you when you only have 1,200 HP. This is not working out. And I see so many people, not just Forsaken Archer, but go this Whispering Helm Firebrand route, and then she got a very late Shrunken Head after that. Why not just get a first item Shrunken Head? Like, people are like, oh no, it's like, that's so bad to do. Like, you're never going to be able to farm, but you're never going to be able to fight anyway. And this item build is just, I don't know. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. I love the impersonation. Oh no! Yeah, so.
You can't do that. You cannot get Shrunken Head first.
Oh my God! All right, so yeah, Forsaken Archer though, it's probably going to work into the Geometer's Bane now, but yeah, you can definitely question why not just go for that Shrunken first. So Portal Key is being used. Actually, Moraxis is very aggressive. Going to find Bubbles right here by himself. Quake's done, not going to be timed though correctly. The takeover was still active, and now he takes the Kelfield. And actually, Moraxis won a little bit of trouble. Luna's coming in with the power throw. There's the W. Arcane Shield going to be used. Tempest running over though, and the Portal Key is going to be used. Tempest.
No!
Oh, the Tempest ultimate completely whiffing. Man, I mean, Chessie is just, it's not been his game. It's not been his game. He had a hell of a game last game, of course. And that's like collar goes down. Holy crap! Didn't even realize the energy field going to be activated still in the midst of this with that Shrunken Head, but a Warbeast hits the carry course. See they start getting some damage. Tempest stops in for a second Archer, missing the crippling ball. Look at Silhouette just fall apart though. Storyfooter doing so much physical damage as expected. He's chasing Torture now. Torture will fall for Forsaken Archer. Crippling, piercing arrows completely whiffing right there. But Tempest is more than likely going to fall. Portal Key? Yes, he will be able to get it off actually. So he'll be fine. But he's the only one up right now, and nobody can buy back. This is going to be big for myRevenge.
They could easily get, okay, well, they have the outer towers to deal with, so that's good for Complexity at least, but they might even just
Thrown?
Possibly thrown? I mean, look, watch the damage. Just watch the damage. And
Well,
I gotta say, that was a pretty big throw by the team. It all started off, I mean, a couple of different things. Hackster was totally segregated. He had a good idea of maybe trying to stop Kongor, and maybe he was thinking, like, guys, why are we focused on them? I wasn't exactly sure because I was looking at the bottom. But no, they're just going to safely take the racks. It looks like they may be getting out of tower after that.
Okay.
I feel like they maybe even could throw.
I agree. I mean, Torture's coming up in 10 seconds, but you got Silhouette and Bubble still down for 20+.
I mean, it'd be close. It would be very close, and actually it probably would be a little bit risky. They just want to get, you know, maximize their resources right now.
Look at the gold lead. It's gone. It was up to like 12,000. It seemed like 5-6 minutes ago, and now it's just gone.
But it was a combination of some big missed spells in this bottom engagement, namely the Tempest ultimate, just completely whiffed. And then right after that, Hackstern's trying to fight on his own around Kongor, which proved not to be successful at all, and died right there. Then Franzi died as a result after that, and it just all kind of snowballed. And right, just like that, my revenge is in this game.
Well, the lack of Shrunken Head on Warbeast, it has not hurt him at all, it seems like. I mean, it's really proven his item build this game is maximum effect. I mean, especially with right there, a Silhouette in by herself, and you figure, like, okay, yeah, where's the follow-up, though? And as we saw, I mean, Warbeast just tore Silhouette up when he went in ulti form, and despite that Shrunken Head being up for Silhouette, of course, that does nothing against the Warbeast in physical damage, so he didn't care about that. He has another 4,600 gold save, so he even could go the Shrunken Head right now if you wanted to, but I don't see him doing that. I mean, it seems like it's been working well without it, well enough at least, so.
I mean, well, you can say, see, it's he hasn't died yet and he's doing lots of damage. Like, no Shrunken Head is necessary. I think that's just a coincidence. Like, I still think he needs it. I still think it's going to be very effective against Torture, Bubbles, what have you. I will say in general, though, yet, like, it's not the worst thing in the world to, like, not rush a Shrunken Head against Tempest, because obviously Tempest is fantastic against Warbeast, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't go for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you do have the green triangle, so to speak, getting purchased on this Legion team. Glacius has one. Now Torture just bought one. But yes, I will say I am becoming more of a fan of the Shield Breaker route on Warbeast. Normally I just go for that Demonic, but as I've been watching Shield Breaker get picked up more and more onto Warbeast, it does dish out a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, look at that, 346 in max damage with basically just two damage items.
Yeah, with the Battlecry activated, I mean, even without the Battlecry, it's at 302 max damage. So a lot of max damage. Torture in the meantime at the bottom lane, you're in a lot of trouble, buddy. In comes Moraxis with the initiation ulti form from Warbeast, and Torture tying a couple of auto attacks later. He did actually have a Void Talisman, as you mentioned, but he had a Shrunken, a Void Talisman, a tablet. He couldn't get any of those off, though, and a huge pick for my revenge. So the golden experience, it's completely gone. Even the experience was even more than the gold, and now that's even slightly in favor of my revenge. So talk about this game just kind of getting out of hand here quickly for Complexity. And I will also say, you know, especially compared to last game, it was a very, very passive game and had the one big fight and then done. This is definitely turning out to be the much more entertaining game in that sense of a lot of kills and a lot of action. So you can at least appreciate that. But man, Void Talisman's not only on the Legion side, but actually Engineer picking up one of his own. So kind of going all over the place. But now Warbeast just bought something. So what was it? It is being delivered. The Demonic Breastplate. He right-clicks a Demonic Breastplate. So he does have the attack speed now. The minus armor actually bubbles at the top lane. Hellfire going to be activated. The Quake's not coming out. The Crippling falling. And there's the death on a moving under right there. Complexity, they're falling apart. They're getting picked off one by one here.
They are. They are really falling apart. And again, I think it's. I mean, my revenge is playing this well, but I can't say I would have seen, like, in particular, Chessie have the performances he's had, like, you know, 3 months ago. But here we might see an engagement here as they want to still hold this off.
Huh.
Here we go with Hackster.
Wow.
I'm lagging with that.
Yeah, Silhouette doing a lot of damage right here on a Moraxis. Maximum. There's a Tempest ultimate. Pretty clutch one at that. Forsaken Archer will be pulled in. He's going to have that Token of Life activated. Of course, he'll respawn, but he'll die shortly after. But look at Warbeast in the meantime at the bottom lane. He is destroying the tower right now. A port is coming in. Do they have invulnerability? It won't matter in the end. He'll start falling back. Actually, Glacius ports in. Glacius is like, oh, this is a horrible decision. Glacius falls. Tempest ports it out. Tempest is going to fall. Warbeast just takes the boat down. Someone jumps in, and Silhouette ports out with the illusion. Warbeast is doing so much damage here. In the meantime, Torture off to the side. He's going to get caught. He doesn't have Void Talisman. It doesn't matter. He falls right there.
Are you kidding me right now? The tower will fall, and Complexity completely on their heels right here. Silhouette is the only one up right now. She is level 23, but Warbeast, man, is so deadly. He has ulti form in 5 seconds. We do have Engineer nearby, and he has ulti form ready to go in 1 second. Silhouette needs to be careful. She's going to do some damage, and it looks like Warbeast will fall back.
Oh, they're going to rush him. Bubbles is here. They're going to rush him. Bubbles wants to have blood. The stun comes out. Bubbles gets the Kel field. He's trying to get the silence off, but so much damage from Warbeast. First hit bash on the Bubbles. Bubbles in a lot of trouble. The turret hitting him. Oh my God. Stroyfutter's having the game, man. So much damage. I'm pretty sure that's going to be GG well played.
It has to be.
And I have seen more first hit bashes from this guy. My God, the first hit bash on the Glacius too. He tried to pop that green triangle, so to speak, or the Void Talisman. But the first hit bash, and I'll say the synergy, I talked about, I was like, why get Brutalizer when you don't have Demonic? Well, he has Demonic now, and my God, is it paying dividends.
You see what happened. I just can't believe what we just saw right there. I mean, Complexity won a team fight at the top lane. Warbeast was like, don't worry, guys, I'm pushing the bottom. They poured it in 1 by 1, and he just tore them up 1 by 1. That was just ridiculous what happened. And now Chemp is coming back in, but Warbeast, again, he wants to go man mode, but it might be time to start falling back, as he is going to. Chessie is, or excuse me, Aluna is here, actually. For assistance, and a post-haste port coming in. Whoever that is, Forsaken Archer? Yeah, Forsaken Archer coming in with post-haste, so they're going to keep the pressure up. So Complexity is still fighting. They want to make something happen. Tempest Ultimate's off cooldown, though, and I'm pretty sure this could be near the end. They're going to go for one last game right here. Torture with the Shuriken Head, jumping in right here. Warbeast jumping, but look at Warbeast, that damage output. Torture will fall. Warbeast going down, but will it matter in the end? Glacius falls. Tempest still just sitting here. He's going to start falling now. He'll be exploded on. Shuriken Head going off, but he will go down, and you got to expect those GG well plays, and more than likely a game number 3 going to be coming up here. In fact, there's the vote to concede. Wow, I am still in somewhat shock. Warbeast, we know this hero can definitely get crazy and do a lot of damage, but holy crap, man. They were porting in 1 by 1, and they were dying 1 by 1 very quickly.
I can't believe what we saw, man. I mean, that was a pretty damn big throw.
Okay, you can argue that, yes.
They were up 12K and it just disintegrated in a matter of a minute.
It all started with that Kongor.
The Kongor, right before that, the completely with Tempest Ultimate, and then at the same time still trying to make up for the Kongor being killed by trying to fight. If you have a Tempest Swift Ultimate and then you see Kongor, it should be like, okay, back, let's not fight. You had Haxor in the mix, like I said, totally segregated from his team, died as a result, got 1 kill, but it didn't really matter, and then just 1 after 1 just dying to Warbeast, who have that huge gold lead because of that fight after that.
Yeah.
So, oh man. But, gotta hand Destroyfutter in particular.
Yeah.
Destroyfutter. Massive damage coming out well played.
He went a build, and we definitely gave him the criticism as deserving. It was in the end, of course, a very risky build. You still can't argue against that, but it paid off in the end. Despite not going the Shrunken Head, he just went for raw damage, Shield Breaker into Brutalizer, and then eventually the Demonic Breastplate, as you mentioned, we saw. I mean, it just got ridiculous as far as his damage output. He was 3-shotting heroes at the end there easily. So, well, Complexity, well, I should say myRevenge, winning the second game. And as a result, we have game number 3 going to be coming at you, ladies and gentlemen. So that was a fun game right there. Looking forward to seeing, is Complexity going to be knocked out here in the loser's bracket? Or will Complexity fight back strong and take out myRevenge to advance on here still in what is the Diamond Division cycle number 2. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3 coming up next.